Yesterday's matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills could go down as the game of the season. The Vikings defeated the Bills 33-30 in overtime at the Bills' home stadium. Minnesota now touts a record of 8-1, and Buffalo no longer controls the AFC East. So joining us now to recap the biggest moments from Week 10 is my man Nate Burleson, co-host of CBS Mornings. Nate, good to see you, my man.
Hey, what's going on, Vlad? Hey, Anne-Marie, how you guys doing?
Good. All right. So, dude, Minnesota, your former team, talk to me about this game and what your big takeaway was and how they won that game in OT.
Have you ever seen a movie that just had twist after twist after twist? I mean, jaw dropped. You're looking around. You're trying to talk to the person that's next to you, saying, I can't believe what just happened. And then another twist hits you right in the face. That was this game. I mean, it was a back and forth affair. Both quarterbacks playing well, playmakers stepping up and making big plays. Josh Allen, as you're seeing right here, throwing absolute darts at the beginning of the game. But then a couple of costly turnovers late in the game. It put the Minnesota Vikings in position to basically win it. And then the game slid into overtime after a great catch by Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is a young wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. He went up, snatched the ball with one hand while it was in the grips of a DB, pulled it down with one hand without even placing his other hand on the ball. And then that gave the Minnesota Vikings this momentum that they carried all the way up until the final game-closing interception by Patrick Peterson, old wily veteran who came over from Arizona Cardinals, and he had 2 interceptions in this game. But yeah, an overtime victory, the way that it went down with all the twists and turns, this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Forget about of the season.
Well, another really good game, overtime victory as well. Green Bay Packers defeated the Dallas Cowboys in overtime. It was an upset on Sunday. What were your takeaways from that game?
Well, it seems like these young wide receivers are starting to make plays for Aaron Rodgers. You know, Devontae Adams, who was a superstar wide receiver, basically the Robin to his Batman. He's now with the not the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, excuse me. And he's trying to find his way with these young wide receivers. And Christian Watson, young rookie, that guy right there, number 13. I mean, he did his thing. 3 touchdowns on the day. It was kind of his coming out party. So everybody give it up for Christian Watson. That boy good.
Yeah.
That boy good.
It's great. And a lot was also made over the coaching debut of Jeff Saturday, who led the Colts to a win over the Raiders on Sunday. Coach Cowher, your boy on the set there, was extremely critical of Saturday being on the sidelines for this game. What do you think of the controversy?
Well, listen, Coach Cowher spoke from the heart. He's a Hall of Fame coach, coached for many years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when he talks about the coaching profession, we all listen. Now, he had some very good points on Sunday. He basically was pointing to the fact that Jeff Saturday had opportunities to take a coaching position with the Indianapolis Colts, but he decided not to because he wanted to spend more time with his family, rightfully so. And he also had a TV career going on. And Bill Cowher, who you're looking at right now, was basically saying, coaching isn't something you can do haphazardly. You have to commit to it. Coaching is, as he put it, a lifestyle. And Jeff Saturday for so long chose another lifestyle, which is TV and family. And, I can identify with that. But he was pointing not to Jeff Saturday saying he didn't deserve it, but pointing to other coaches that chose the lifestyle, that sacrificed the time with their family, that has spent the nights at the facility studying film just to wake up and get their team prepared. Guys that were already there on that team within that organization that could have been hired within, that have been there through the grind, the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride of being a coach in the NFL, and also other coaches outside of the Indianapolis Colts. And I think for a lot of coaches that might have been in that position, hoping that maybe they will select me and Jeff Saturday coming in from the outside in, even though he has had a relationship with the team, not in the position as a coach, I think that frustrated coaches and the coaches who have been in that profession and have been through the grind.
So we had the first ever NFL game in Germany. Tom Brady was playing. He said that it was probably one of the best experiences of his entire time in the NFL. The crowd certainly seemed to be into it. There was a sing-along and everything. Do you think we'll see an NFL game back in Germany sometime in the future?
100%. I mean, what we're seeing now with the game really scratching the surface on playing internationally, and then, giving the fans that love this sport all around the world an opportunity to see it in person. We're going to see this more and more often. It's funny, when I played, I didn't have an opportunity to. Before we were able to go to London, I got hurt. So I was always down about that. It was one of my biggest regrets that I didn't get to play overseas. But picture this for a second. I would sit in that locker room and there would be guys, actual guys in the locker room that would say, oh man, I don't want to go all the way over there. It's a long trip and, we got to adjust to the time. So I'm like, bro, we're playing a child's sport. We are out here catching a football, getting paid a ton of money, and you're complaining about traveling first class overseas to play in front of the international fan base. So I would always have to kind of rein it in, like, check your emotions for a second. Those are first world problems. You should be thankful and blessed that we have an opportunity to play overseas. And I think a lot of guys nowadays, they feel that way.
Yeah.
Always keeping it real, my man. All right, let me ask you one last question. This is a serious one, as you know. Last week, the D.C. Attorney General filed a civil lawsuit against the Washington Commanders, its owner, Dan Snyder, the NFL, and Commissioner Roger Goodell. Could Snyder's ownership of the team be coming to an end soon? And I know you roll in them celebrity circles, Nate. Who are you hearing about who could actually own the Washington Commanders? Maybe even Nate Burleson. When you start reaching out to banks for representation, as it seems that Snyder was doing over the past couple of weeks, and then you couple that with a lot of the controversy, the toxic work environment that has been alleged, saying that he has ran some parts of his organization like a messy frat house, and these are all allegations. And the NFL investigation is now being challenged from a D.C. Attorney General. I believe that the ownership that he has had over the Commanders will come to an end. And what I'm hearing as far as potential new owners, Jeff Bezos' name comes up, and that's interesting because Amazon does have a relationship with the NFL, so I wonder how that will work. But then also Jay-Z. So Bezos and Jay-Z, possibly a couple of people that have thrown their hat in there. I would love that for a couple of reasons. One, I know those two individuals are very passionate about sports. So I love owners that aren't just owning teams as a hobby or just an investment opportunity, but someone who is fully invested with it when it comes to time and energy. And then also representation matters. To see someone like Jay-Z, African-American, where we do not see that when it comes to the NFL. I want to see somebody, a person of color, that owns a majority stake in a team. And then hopefully we can get a woman in there. And so we can start to beat down these barriers that have stood in the way when it comes to owning a team in the NFL.
Also, more Beyonce halftime shows. I'm just saying.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Everything that Nate said was on point. You're on point, Nate. But,
that's also a very good point.
And let's keep it real. Jay-Z owned the team. He married to Beyonce. That means Beyonce owned the team too.
Right?
It's 50-50 around here.
Yeah, because I'm sure he can't buy that team unless,
unless Queen B says it's okay.
Exactly.
That's right.
I can't buy a pair of shoes without my wife giving me the green light, so I know Jay-Z ain't gonna buy a team without Beyonce.
That's the way it's supposed to be, gentlemen.
Now we know.
Nate,
we didn't know. Now we know.
Nate, thanks a lot.
All right. See you guys next week.
Thank you.